Hello, Jason here again. It's 9:30 on a Sunday morning, which makes it seem like a good time to talk about this thing that's been on my mind for a while. And that's this feeling that I seem to have that like leisure time is like some kind of luxury that has to be cut out when times get tough. And sort of the best way to look at that is think of in your weekly groceries. Let's say in your weekly groceries you bought an expensive tub of luxury ice cream, and you buy that every week, and then when times get tough and money gets a bit tight, you think, well, I need to save money. I'd best cut out that expensive tub of ice cream that I'm buying every week, and that's going to save me some money, which is fair enough. But the problem is I find myself treating my leisure time like that expensive tub of ice cream, and then when things get tough, I feel like leisure time is something I have to cut out. I view leisure time as some sort of frivolous luxury rather than an essential part of my well-being. And I think a lot of that comes down to this sort of constant hustle culture that we've been exposed to. If you go on Instagram, like I used to before I deleted my account and got off there, but if you go on Instagram, you used to see these memes that would say things like, "While you were busy watching TV, he was busy working on his next million," and it puts this thing in your head again, like, what are you doing wasting time relaxing when there are bills to pay? You're made to feel guilty about just taking some time out for yourself to try and wind down and calm down, regain your energy, maybe make yourself smile for a few hours. You're sort of guilty about that because there's people waiting to be paid their money, and it's not all down to hustle culture, but I'm sure that has an effect. But I think what also plays on our mind now is the fact that we view every day with like a monetary value, whereas back in the good old days when bills used to arrive in the post, you'd maybe receive a bill once a month. You'd receive your gas bill and your electricity bill and your phone bill, and it would just be once a month, and then you'd pay those, and then for the rest of the month you weren't necessarily thinking about it. Whereas I think now, in this kind of day and age of paperless billing, where companies now have our email addresses and they have our phone numbers and everything else, it seems like just every day you're getting a reminder that you have some bills to pay, and it's like I find with some of mine now is like no sooner have I made the payment than a few days later you get an email through saying, "Oh, your bill for this month is going to be so and so," even though you've only just paid the last month's one. And then you get another reminder out a week later saying, "Oh, just a reminder that we're going to be taking this much money in 3 weeks," and another reminder, "Oh, we're going to be taking this much in 2 weeks," and then another reminder, "Yeah, we're going to be taking this in a week's time," and then you get just a reminder that in 2 days' time we're going to be taking this money from you. So I think you're at this point now where it's just like every day, when you spread across all the things you're paying for, it's almost like every day you're getting another email reminding you that some money is needing to be paid and some money is going to be going out of your account. And I think because of that, it's actually very hard to just actually take a day off. Because like I say, every day sort of has a monetary value now. You think, okay, well, I'm going to take a Saturday and Sunday off and I'm just going to watch TV and I'm just going to play video games. But then you think, well, hang on a minute, that's kind of, that day has just cost me this much money by not doing anything. So I've wasted that. And I think that's why leisure time, I say, becomes viewed as a luxury. Like, as if you've got plenty of money coming in and all your bills are being paid easily and you've got money to spare, then yeah, fine, have it. have your luxury. But if if things are a little bit tight, then it seems like leisure time is the first thing that gets cut out. So I can't spend my Saturday and Sunday watching TV or playing video games or reading a book, because I need to be spending those days trying to find a new way to bring in some money because of all these bills that have got to be paid. And I think it's a slippery slope, and like eventually it leads to you just burning out and throwing your hands up in the air and giving up and saying, well, I can't keep doing this. And that's suddenly when everything comes crashing down, and you find yourself in a worse situation than you were when you started, just because you didn't allow yourself to take 2 days off a week just to actually try and recharge yourself, sort of mentally and physically. And and if you're working in the creative sort of medium, then taking that leisure time actually allows you to sort of refill some of the creativity in your brain. I sort of like to think of your mind as a kind of pot where you can't keep taking stuff out without putting something back in, because at the end of the day you just drain away what's in there and there's nothing left. So I think the leisure time in a way actually helps to recharge that creativity as well, and then you might find yourself coming out with new ideas. But like I say, we've been put in this mindset where we're supposed to feel guilty because we're taking leisure time, and I know I do. It's like I got up this morning and I would have probably quite liked to just be sat in the lounge now playing video games or or reading a book or watching TV, but I feel obliged to come in here and make this video because before I will allow myself to have some leisure time, I feel like I have to earn it by trying to do something that will hopefully boost my income in some way, which is why I'm sat here now, like I say, at 9:30 on a Sunday morning making this video rather than relaxing and enjoying myself, while I'm sure a lot of the people in the street here are probably still in bed at the moment. But I'm sat here making videos because my brain doesn't allow me to have leisure time without earning it in some way first. It's it's like something that has to be bought. You have to earn enough to buy a token to actually have some leisure time, like you're buying access to a theme park or something. You have to save up and buy a magic ticket to be able to access a bit of leisure time. It's not good, but that's the way of the world sometimes. If you know that on Monday morning there are some bills that have got to be paid, then it's very hard to just relax and do nothing on your Sunday. I mean, I've even had situations now again because companies now have our email addresses and everything's automated, where I'm getting emails from my bank on 9:30 on a Sunday evening, when I'm trying not to think about any of that kind of stuff, but you still get an email coming through, and it just has a cryptic message. It just says, "Oh, there's an important message in your inbox," and you think, "Bloody hell, what's that? I best go and check it." Normally on a Sunday evening, I'd like to not look at emails and just ignore them. But you think, okay, it might be something important. So you go and look, and you find, okay, it's just your monthly statement or something. It was nothing that important at all. But that's just an example of how now these companies can sort of get you at any time of the day or night, and that just makes it extremely difficult to switch off. Even if you try to ignore your emails, then when you finally do log back in, you suddenly find, oh bloody hell, I got an email 12 hours ago about something important I missed. And it just gets to you. At least in the days of when companies used to send you bills in the post, you kind of knew what time of day your post generally came. Let's say your post came at midday, so midday came and went, and you saw the post person walk by your house and there was no post, you just relax and go, okay, that's it for the rest of the day. You sort of knew that there was just that one point when bills or anything else were going to arrive. Whereas this 24-hour thing where we're just constantly getting bombarded with demands for money, and it just like I say, it makes it very difficult. It makes it very difficult to just switch off and just say that I'm going to take some time for myself. It's again, it comes back to this guilt tripping that leisure time is a luxury that has to be done away with when times get tough. It's tough. But again, is it just me? Is it just me that feels this way? Do you get this way sometimes? Do you find it hard to actually allow yourself leisure time? Do you suffer under the constant bombardment of emails just reminding you of how much money you're having to pay every month? Do you long for the days when you just used to get bills once a month, and then for the remaining 3 weeks out of the month you could kind of put money out of your mind and not think about it and focus on other things? Let me know in the comments. Again, put my mind at rest. It's not just me that's going through this. And until next time, take care of yourselves. Bye for now.